Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire, and that, my friends, is a fact of life. Thank you, and welcome to That's the Facts of Life, where we go through all the topics that matter to you and bring you just the facts. Today's topics include SEC's Army of Lies and FINRA's Nautical Ties. Before we get there, though, let's check in on that FINRA naughty list. Topping the list this week is a rep and broker-dealer combo. According to FINRA, the rep raised millions through sales of private placement securities, but made material misrepresentations and omissions to investors in these sales. His broker-dealer's mistake came when they failed to supervise offerings of private placement securities. As a result, both the rep and broker-dealer have been barred from the securities industry. The rep, though, defended himself by arguing that the misrepresentations and omissions resulted from his good faith reliance on information and advice he received from others. That and the Zoltar Speaks fortune-telling machine. FINRA did not require him to repay investors for their losses, but did ask him to cover the $6,000 for the proceedings and pick up the lunch tab. In other news, Leroy Brown may be the baddest man in the whole damn town, but Leroy Brown Jr., well, he's just the biggest liar this side of the beanstalk. The SEC recently filed fraud charges and an asset freeze against Leroy Brown Jr. for telling false tales about his stockbroking experience to lure current and former U.S. military personnel into investing with him. He apparently touted his Army vet status while soliciting to military members through his firm, LB Stocks and Trades Advice, LLC. Mr. Brown falsely assured investors he had all the necessary licenses and registrations, along with many years of experience, essentially making him a securities army of one. However, after a recon mission revealed that neither Brown nor his company were licensed or registered, well, Uncle Sam wanted Brown again, and this time it wasn't to serve. Instead, he wanted him on charges of securities fraud and conducting an unregistered securities offering, leaving many at nearby Fort Hood saying, "This will not defend." Speaking of defending, a broker from Boca Raton thought the perfect defense against FINRA and his legal troubles was to fake his disappearance at sea. Long story short, he was in the midst of a lawsuit against JP Morgan claiming to be the victim of essentially a smear campaign, while also being investigated by FINRA for forging signatures and stealing money from elderly customers. Naturally, he decided that the only logical thing to do for proving his innocence was to fake his own death. This poorly planned attempt to reenact Catch Me If You Can began on March 31st when he rented a boat. He then left the boat drifting offshore of Boca Raton and used a dinghy to return to shore, where he got into his recently purchased truck and drove to Georgia. His critical mistake, though, would become apparent on April 12th, where he was found back at home. The criminal mastermind's untimely discovery seemed to be a fitting end to his long-running fight with FINRA and JP Morgan. Well, that'll do it for today. To learn more about industry news, check out the Compliance Digest or tune into an all-new episode in 2 weeks. And in case you didn't know, movie trailers used to be shown after movies, hence the name trailers. And that, my friends, is a fact of life.